Firebase Forge. John, get those supplies moving. We need to start helping out in the frontier. Marine. Yes, sir. Static. Cutter. Commander Arc. Isabel detected some readings similar to the arc emanating somewhere on the continent you call Anima. John, what kind of readings? Isabel, teleportation signals commander. Please investigate it ASAP. John, copy that. Hey, Commander Jerome. Me and my ODSTs are assigned to investigate a signal. You and your team can help out the frontier villages. Jerome, understood. Good luck, sir. John, there I no such thing as luck. See you on the other side. Then he and the company rode in warthogs to avoid drawing attention with the pelicans. Static. Cutter. Commander, we got some bad news. It seems the kingdom of Atlas is under constant attack by massive hordes of Grimm. John. Damn. How are we on our numbers, sir? Cutter. We still have a decent amount of forces available as 12% are with you and 26% is in Forge base. John. Can we afford to send in some aid for Mantle and Atlas? Cutter. We can, but it must be covert ops. John. Alright, send in a company of ODSTs, they're trained for it. Cutter. Understood. And be careful out there, we can't afford to lose any more of our experienced soldiers. John, copy that. They make their way to the mysterious signal as they found a forerunner structure. The ODSTs approached the structure cautiously and noticed that the doors were open. John, check those corners. As they entered and made their way to an empty pedestal, John lowered his weapon and approached it, inspecting it. He traced his fingers on the empty shape. John, hold on, this shape, it's the same size I used on that fall bitch, so Ozpin already has been here. Then something opened fire on TH as they all took cover. But John noticed the sound of the gunfire. It was A.R. John, hold fire, as the ODSTs kept themselves from firing.
Jaune, Marine. Oh.
John, I am Commander Arc ODST, from the Spirit of Fire. Spiritual of Fire? I heard they all went where Kia during the Covenant War. John, don't believe everything you see and only half of what you hear. He stood and holstered his A. Arn walked into the light with his hands up. ODST light. Sir, what are you doing? John, trust me. Then the person in question walked towards John. It was John. Please state your name and rank and the ship you're stationed. Johnson. Sergeant Johnson Avery. Pillar of Autumn. John. Pillar of Autumn. I remember fighting alongside them with the Belfast, Texas, and Armstrong in Arcadia. Johnson. Well, I'll be. You guys went missing for almost 30 years. I remember you guys owing us a few plasma rhinos. John. Blame the Covenant destroyed them. We were in pursuit to stop them from gaining access to a forerunner sure capable of creating a fleet for them. We lost a lot of men, including Sergeant Forge in the process. Johnson. About that. Then another man walked out of the Forge. Sergeant Arc?
Jaune, Forge. How?
And why? Forge. I don't know, when I was setting up the FTL reactor, then some sort of gate opened for me. I guess that alien tech knew I didn't want to die and gave me a way out.
John, and you?
Johnson. I was barely conscious, but I saw a light and reached out to it. Next thing I know, I'm here with Sergeant Forge. John. If that's all, I see no more value in this place, as I guess this night be just a teleportation relay. Let's get back to Firebase Forge and get our bearings. As they spent some hours coming back, they were met with some frantic Marines. Marines, sir. It's the Mantle contingent. It's worse than we thought, more Grimm are coming. And this huge whale thing crashed into Atlas, releasing more. John, this is bad. Any word from Red Team and Omega? Marine. They're at the outer reaches of Mantle, keeping the Grimm at bay, but the ones already in the cities are overwhelming the soldiers and huntsmen. John. We need a QRF. Captain Cutter, I believe the time for subtlety is out of the window. The people of needs help now. Cutter. Understood. Get yourselves geared up, and get there, will provide off-map support if necessary. Johnson. Sounds like the locals are having problems. Forge, what's a grim? Jaune, I'll brief you in the way. Let's move with a purpose. Modernus, Oats, what ah? As they make their way, pelicans began picking up all sorts of reinforcements for the assault force. Warthogs and scorpions. As they make landfall, they were met with grim opposition as they wade their way through city block by city block. They received an alert at Atlas Academy. Jaune left Johnson and Forge in charge of the assault while he and a squad of his finest ODSTs. The ODST fire team sneaks through the hallways for the first few minutes until he finds his old team with a young man he never met before until another young man with the same look charges them. Jaune was about to take a shot until the boy punches the other, breaking into glass and revealing a familiar ice cream-themed girl he was warned about by Team RWBY. Before she could stand up, Jaune rushed and puts his foot on her neck.
Voice changé.
Jaune, stay down or I'll put you down. Team PNR Pioneer. Tres. Not knowing who they are and assume them as Atlas personnel, let them handle the vengeful Sunday. The other ODSTs puts restraints on her as they picked her up as she struggles. Jaune, out of anger at the idiot Sunday for the fall of Beacon, punching her square in the face, knocking her out. Then he noticed the lamp as Isabel contacted him. Isabel, sir, I am detecting a large amount of energy coning from that lamp thing. He kept the audio inside his helmet as he spoke. Jaune, this girl is partly responsible for the invasion of Beacon, and she was after this thing. Knowing that Fall Woman was not working alone, they're after this thing. Isabel, recommend asset denial. Jaune, with Atlas' track record of keeping their shit together, I agree. He picked up the relic of knowledge as Team PONR took their stances. Pyrrha, sir, can you kindly give that to us? We'll keep it safe. Jaune, judging by the fact that this intruder was in possession of it, I'll reconsider. Nora, time to break some legs. Ren, guys, maybe we can talk this out. Jaune noticed more Atlas personnel arriving. He took out a smoke grenade and covered their escape. Team PONR tried to catch them, but they were blocked by Atlassian troops heading somewhere else. Meanwhile, Pelican. Neo was waking up but was hit with the butt of a shotgun, keeping her asleep. Jaune, Captain, prep a cell. We have an HVD in custody and have Isabel contain whatever this is for safekeeping. Cutter. Well done, Commander, but we still have bad news as this whale Grim is outside Atlas and spawning smaller Grim to storm the city. The Atlas army is currently holding the line. Isabel. But they won't last for long. I have intercepted an urgent message. They are preparing a payload to bomb it, but with the amount it's sending, they might be overwhelmed before they deliver their payload.
Jaune, understood.
Sir, can we drop a MAC round on it? Cutter. Isabel? Isabel. The Mac is fully repaired and ready to fire, but what about the smaller ones? Cutter. Continuous barrages of Archer missiles should be good enough, but if we send in a force, this Atlas may interpret it as hostile. Jaune. Well, cross that bridge when we get there. I'll lead the ground units.